Hello everyone, it is Christine here and I am back with my Post Fleur Woods Retreat piece, and I want to do some work with you on it today. I want to explore mark making and I want to explore decorative stitching and how you can add that to your own slow stitching or fabric collage projects. I also want to show you how I am storing my various wools and threads and yarns for this project in case that helps you with how you store your own as well. So I might start with the threads and the yarns. So I'm using or planning to use quite a few wools for this project. So I've just taken a little storage drawer. It's something I'd had for many years and I've been sort of tidying up boxes and things, and so it was spare. I've got a lovely little vintage Walker's shortbread tin, which I've put some of the Appleton's wool or crewel wools, because I know not Appleton's doesn't go everywhere in the world, so you might know it as crewel wool, including this one that I dyed at the Fleur Woods Retreat, so that's a special little one. Then I've got some of Fleur's lovely wools, as well as some of Zoe's wools from Green Door Studios, plus some other. This is a vintage hank from a long stitch kit. This is one of Zoe's lovely wools from Green Door, and then yeah, as I say, lots of Fleur's wools. I purchased some extra ones when we were at the retreat from Fleur, because they are just such gorgeous, and they come wrapped in these lovely little vintage sheet or pillowcase pieces, which are lovely. But just look at the delicious colours, just to give you a bit of a... It is a candy store, and I do like actually having them so that I can kind of go through them like this and yeah, look at all the beautiful colours. Some of them are also out of my stash as well. I think that's actually just a regular maybe like tapestry wool. This one would have been, I think, in my yarns from Carlund Yarns. So yeah, quite a variety here. That one potentially is the right colour, not sure. And then this is a roll that I got from, I think it's called the Wool Store. I'll have to check back to the name of it. But I got various variegated ones, and they're really fantastic because from one roll of wool you can get so many different varieties. An example of that is from one roll of variegated wool. I got all these variegated variations from the one roll, so pretty amazing. Everything from the blues through the yellows, greens, purples, oranges, reds, and then some more blues, some more greens, some more yellow with pink. So a huge variety. So there's something good to look for if you do see them available. This one's 100% wool. It's 5-ply, whereas I think these are usually 4-ply, but I think it'll be pretty good to stitch with. We'll give it a go at some point in this project, so stay tuned and see. These are just some other wools. I think these are Appleton wools, and then these are a brand that I haven't much seen. So these are something I got vintage from Purveyor of Reclaimed Textiles. So these are the Riolis wools. So that's one storage, and then another one is and I've just wrapped it with washi tape. I'm not sure if the washi tape, I was just noticing it was coming off at the corner. Not sure if it will always stay stuck down, but I can always go over with a bit of Mod Podge or something. And so I've just used this cutlery storage drawer. It was just a wood, so you could leave it in its wood form. I just thought I'll put some washi tape on because I've actually got that and don't really use it for anything else. And then I'd previously made some little compartments because I was planning to use this as a little sort of shadow box, a little bureau of treasures for when we were doing the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, the nature journal, but I didn't use it for that purpose, so I figured, yep, it will be a perfect little, and it's got a little carry handle, perfect for this project. So I've got threads and some ribbons as well, which are wound onto those embroidery cards. I've got some of my crochet thread or my PLA. I particularly got the variegated colours because they're really good, but I have been using some of the yellows. I've got various regular stranded cotton, although some of these are lovely variegated ones, including some from the Fleur Woods Retreat. And then I've got some of these lovely razzle threads, or are they dazzle? Wonderful razzle. I think dazzle is a different variety. I think they're the ones that are actually sparkly, but again, lovely colours. And then I've got those wools that I mentioned. So that gives me a lot of variety. And I will be drawing from that, I'm sure, in today's little stitchy. session. So what I'll do while I'm still standing up and have the camera sort of zoomed out, let me just bring my scissors and my needles over. I'll just give you a little look at how it's looking in case you haven't caught up with the earlier videos, the post-retreat videos where I've shared it. I've already started stitching in, and I'll show you in a moment where I've started doing the stitching into it. So there we are, that's the top coming down. And so these pieces, lots of the pieces on here are ones that I hand painted at the workshop. They were just regular doilies or laces or trims, and then I've integrated them in with vintage doilies, embroideries, vintage pillowcase or sheet little fragments, lovely cross stitches, just cutouts from other bits of fabric. Little bits of sort of lacy trim, but I just love how vibrant it is. It makes me really excited to work on it. I'm finding myself feeling really drawn to and inspired by this piece, and so that's why I'm planning, I think at least once a week I'll do an hour, pop the video on for an hour, and we'll just stitch. And I really want to show you different ways that you can do mark making or decorative stitching on your pieces. So let's move on to that, although while we're still standing up, I'll show you I've done stitching with yellow into this little heart motif. This was what I stitched on the way home in the car from our holiday in Malakuta. So this bird here, let me see if I can bring it up and just give you a closer look. So that's using that razzle thread, and just, yeah, really lovely. I haven't worked out whether I might put beads in these little areas that I've left white in the design. And that was just a regular little, that was off an old tea towel actually, that bird motif, and then done the stitching all over it. I've done lots of seed stitching, which I think I'd shown you previously in this one, and done lots of sort of like seaweed like stitching here. That sort of reminds me of a little coral reef. And then I'd done wrapping of a piece of wool. I have done more wrapping of a piece of wool down here, and then I've done crosses, like a cross stitch but forming a little border, and I think I'm going to continue that up here as well, so we can probably do some of that together. I've also stitched this and filled in this pansy, so as you can see it was on the design, but then I've added all my own stitching into it. I've done using this variegated, and I think we can do some of this just like a kantha stitching, but just sort of joining the two elements together. I've filled in the center of this, I've done stitching around this one, I've done stitching around this one, and I have done a center here which is like a spider's web. They have various names, but that's something else I would like to show you as well. So we might see if we can get one of those done as well, but if not, it will come up in an upcoming episode. So I'll bring you down because I want to be able to see what you can see to make sure I do stay on camera during this little process. Sitting at the outdoor table. It is, I think, a bit after 5 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. I've been out and about visiting today, and I've done the shopping, and I've already picked up some beautiful fish and rice and salad for dinner, so I can now just relax for the next hour with you. So where will we start? Let's grab out some yellow. I think it was this yellow I was using. Yep. So it's just so handy having the trays in front of us, and let's do a little bit of the cross stitchy coming up. So as you can see, I've done the thread wrapping down there and then just started doing little crosses. It doesn't matter that they're not all exactly the same size, but I think I'll continue it because I'm kind of using this thread wrapping, these little things, to delineate little parts of the garden. I'm seeing this almost like a garden. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, almost like little sections in the garden. So I think I'll bring it up here, and probably, yeah, whether I go beyond that point, whether I come around here, I kind of just want to think about what do I want. I think I want to see this one as part of this piece, so I think I might bring it up, maybe up here, and then maybe that will stop there, I think. Again, there's no right or wrong, it's really just about what pleases your eye, and these are just such lovely pieces because you can really just get lost in the process of stitching. Now I'm using some lovely chenille needles that we got at the workshop. They're really good because they have a large eye on them, so it makes them easy to thread, and particularly if you're using things like the wools, yeah, it's very, very useful. And it also stops your wool having so much wear and tear on it, because the needle is of a reasonable size as well, so it's making a reasonable hole as you pull it through the fabric. Now you can hear the cockatoos. We call them the hooligans of the neighbourhood because they sound like they're coming sort of, screeching through the neighbourhood. Now I might just bring you up a tiny bit because I am worried I'm going to go a little bit off. What do they say in skiing? Off-piste. Which I always used to think was them saying someone's going off-piste, but no, it wasn't that at all. So I'm not going to say I'm an expert cross stitcher. The lovely Sarah Tovey that was at our Fleur Woods Retreat, she was doing an amazing cross stitch contemporary piece. And I think I've seen on Instagram, Sarah's also started, I think, a fabric collage piece. So I'll be really interested to see how hers evolves also. And I think the majority of us who attended Fleur's workshop this time around are already registered to attend with Fleur next year for the retreat. Fleur keeps it to a set number of numbers, and so there are only a set number of places, and Zoe kindly offers it first to those that were at the retreat, and then only if there's places available will those be offered more generally. And we have a little WhatsApp group where everyone has been saying registered, paid deposit, and it's going to be so lovely. I'll be seeing my lovely friend Chris. I'll send a cheerio now to the lovely Chris. And Chris, you've been getting such fabulous feedback from folks on your pieces that I shared as part of the retreat wrap up. Everyone loves your little bird pin cushions, but also seeing your incredible artwork. So you should, I know I said it at the workshop, you should feel very proud of your artistic talents. I know I am certainly in awe. And it's going to be so lovely. I'll get to spend some extra time with Chris next year because we're going to share a little cottage. Because I'll be travelling up solo this time. Alex feels he's done enough exploring in the Southern Highlands for now, and that will mean I can also fully immerse myself in all the stitchy activities and little shopping trips and everything else. Obviously, Alex would have been most welcome if he had have been really keen to come, but he said no, I think I'm done for now, maybe for a few years. But the lovely thing is that I can continue to go there. I'll fly up to Canberra, and the lovely Chris will pick me up. She lives quite close to the airport, so that will be very convenient indeed. Now, what have I done? I've already managed to get myself a little knot on the back, but all is not lost. We just go to the back, we work out what's happening. Sometimes it's just a little bit of thread got caught. So the back of this is a lovely piece of wool from Waverley Mills. They periodically, not always, sell crafters bags of wool blanket offcuts. That's why it's got that lovely little fringy bit on the side. And so for the crosses, I don't even know if I'm doing it the sort of official way, but I basically do a diagonal stitch across. And I'm sure if I was more coordinated, I could probably do it all in one manoeuvre. We might try that in a moment so that I can just work on the front of the fabric. But I kind of don't mind doing this process slow. I think this is a piece that I just, as I say, I draw a lot of joy from just even touching it and looking at it. But let's see if I can maybe come down, bring my needle out at the bottom there. Let's challenge myself and see if I can just work on the top of the surface. And then I'll bring it over to there. And what I'm also doing with these little sections like these crosses is using them to also cover where I have an edge of fabric to try and make it, obviously it doesn't have to look totally seamless, and I don't even mind having some little sort of fringy bits, but in this case the little cross stitches are also holding down the edge of the fabric. So let's bring it, and then I'll angle my needle up so that I go up to where the next point is. And then I come across. I'm actually quite proud of how I'm going. As I say, I have never really done sort of counted cross stitches or anything like that, so I wouldn't put my cross stitching skills up there at all. and I'm sure I'm getting bigger and smaller with my cross stitches, but that's okay, they're just decorative. So when we say mark making, because you might have heard me say that at the start of this video and be thinking, what's mark making? So M-A-R-K and then M-A-K-I-N-G. Basically it's about just, doing stitches that create little, I guess if you were drawing, if you did little dashes or little spots around a design or something like that, that's really mark making, and we're just doing it with needle and thread. And I haven't done the research to see sort of who started using, I know it's something that Fleur refers to, mark making, but I haven't really kind of researched to see who uses that particular term beyond Fleur. I've certainly heard it used by many others, but don't know where it kind of originated from. But that's a great thing, like things really in this field of creating, they get shared, and that's part of, I think, the richness of the community, is that we can just kind of percolate our ideas around. See, that's probably looking a little bit wonky, but I'm actually not going to worry, because it's just going to be the effect over time. When you're sort of going around a corner, it can be hard just to sort of keep them in a sensible fashion. Hopefully I am staying, yes, I think I am staying on camera, and let me just tap to make sure I'm in focus. It's hard because when I'm filming outside, the light's a little bit different in my eyes, so I can't as clearly see the screen. So apologies if for any reason I've gone a bit floopy. I think I can see a tiny little Travis piece of fur caught in there. I could leave it in, can't I? Because then that way in the future they can bring Travis and I back and we can frolic together and craft. Who knows? Who knows where this future is taking us? I must admit, I shake my head some days when I watch the news, which I generally try not to do too much news watching, because it does make me wonder. It really does, where the world is heading. Now I've got to get quite a ways round the corner here, but we'll just go across a little bit first, I think, and then we'll start to turn the corner. Otherwise I probably should have been angling the last sort of, the previous one down a bit more. So I think I'll then, let's just have a ponder. Bring it out here. Got another little knot from something. Let's just see if we can fix this up. There we go. So I wonder if I can then just, maybe I'll just come down from here. So now I'm going to sort of do a row down here, down this way, I think. Let's see how this looks. So it's almost making the crosses now start to go at right angles. I'm sure that would probably be against the rules in, maybe it wouldn't be in cross stitch, I'm not sure. So while I was out and about today, I went and had a lovely coffee and chat with Gail from Gladdy and Flo on Instagram. So headed down our Mornington Peninsula. Originally I was going to take Travis down with me, but we weren't quite sure about what the weather would be, and Travis ended up having a bath yesterday anyway. So I just went down for a coffee, and then I did have a little look in the Salvo's store down there. Gail was very good, and because she's trying to de-stash at the moment, she didn't come with me, but I got to briefly meet Gail's sister, who works in the Salvo store as well, so that was really lovely. But always great to have a catch up with a fellow sort of vintage linen lover and creator, and just have a little natter with fellow kindred spirits. We're both saying just how lovely it is to be amongst our, I was about to say be amongst our kind, but you know what I mean. Be amongst our community. And I think that's what really was such a blessing of the Fleur retreat. It's what's going to keep me going back, not just the wonderful time with Fleur, which is absolutely wonderful, but the lovely ladies, and they are all ladies that I have met through this process. Who knows, maybe one day we'll have a fellow, but as I say, the places at the retreat are hotly held hotly held, so I don't even know if there will be places available for any new folks, but we are always very welcoming of anyone else that joins. There are a few folks this year that were new to the retreat, and always make everybody so welcome. And it really is just a real sharing of ideas and inspiration and encouragement, and I'm just feeling really energized. So I don't know if it's just the colors. I suspect it's because this piece is also in my mind associated as a key piece that I started on the final day. Started cutting out the pieces for and did the dyeing of the colored pieces. So I think that's another reason that I'm just feeling really energized by this piece. I'm just going to take out that stitch because I didn't go down quite far enough. So we might, when this piece of thread finishes, I think that will be the point to finish this row of crosses, and then we can maybe move on to do a spider web together. I might just take it to there, I think, and then work out what I do after that. So I'll just take it down to the back and we'll tie it off. Isn't it funny, when I was doing those cross stitches I was obviously following a slightly different, and I did start that way, but I think when I was doing it this way then I was probably just following a bit of a different pattern. As Fleur says, sometimes the backs of the work are just as interesting as the fronts. I do love looking at the backs of pieces. So just keep those thready pieces separate, although that one has just flown into the garden, but I know they can cause problems for birds, so I will pick it up after I'm done. So that's what that looks like, and as you can see I've been not ever so slightly, quite a bit bodgy, but I don't mind it at all, and I just love it. And I kind of actually like that it's sort of larger there, coming down narrower, and then it's coming out bigger. So I don't know, I think it all just adds to the charm. So let's maybe do a one of these windy spiderwebby things. And I might grab another variegated yarn. And so across this piece I'm always thinking about colours and diagonals. So I will probably want to bring in so I've got a blue sort of diagonal running through here. So I think I wouldn't mind using these blues and yellows, and then I've got a yellow diagonal running through here. So I think this one could be quite good. So I will just use this entirety for laying down the foundations and then starting the process of stitching it. Let me get my chenille needle again. So this is just oops, this one's coming off its reel, but that's okay, I can always wind it off. It's a Wonderfeel number 8 pearl cotton EZM1027. And it is lovely to use the variegated for these little spider webs, because then you get lots of wonderful colours in it. So doing some knots around the little needle and then sliding that, well, not knots, some wraps around it, then sliding that down to make my little knot on the end. So with a spider web, which one? Will we do it in this one? This one's a bit bigger. Or will we do it in this one? Maybe we'll do it in this one just so that how are we going for time? No, I think we can do the bigger one actually. So we'll want to lay a foundation which has an uneven number of spokes. So if I was to go out to where the petals are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So no, we won't want to do that. If I was to then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll just have to do it. So I'll do one up here. I'll start with that. And it doesn't actually matter if they're not like perfectly sort of even segments either. And I haven't brought my pen down, so I can't sort of draw it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, maybe I'll need to do it actually a bit further over. Let's go about here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so maybe actually a tiny bit. And I'll try and do this sort of working on the front of the fabric and see if I can make that work. But yeah, you want an uneven number. And so certainly feel free to draw it out if that's something that you want to do. If you have a pen handy, I don't, so I'm just going to stick to, I don't want to be editing this video, I just want it to be a freestyle stitching. Either you're following along or you can be obviously working on your own projects, but hopefully it's going to give you some ideas, some things that you might want to add to whatever you're working on either now or in the future. Just sharing. These aren't sort of these are stitches that I knew before the retreat, so it's not like it's anything that's particularly secret to the retreat, and certainly Fleur uses a wide variety of stitches, but often it's quite simple stitches that are the most effective. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep, so this will give me 7. Oops, what have we got at the back? We've already got a bit of a knot happening somewhere. What's happened here? What is going on, Christine? Where are we knotted? Always the way, hey? What has happened? Why is that at the front not pulling through? Travis is coming out to visit with me. Just going to have to work out what's happened here. So I don't really know. Why is that one not? Oh, is it because we've caught a thread in the center? Is that the problem? Hang on. Let's see if we can fix the problem somewhere along the way. Wherever the problem has occurred. Otherwise, we'll just, if we can't fix it easily, because I don't want you to be watching me just fiddling around, we can always cut some threads and restart. Don't know, I feel like maybe it's happened here. Okay, we'll eventually get ourselves, it won't take us that long to rewind ourselves back to where we were. Which one is the problem? I feel like we're kind of going around a little bit in circles here. What I might do is cut my initial knot off and then see if we can de-thread it that way. And we'll then just start anew. Put my needle over there. Okay, so I've got that one undone. Was probably the going through the center that created our problem, where we got a tangle of some descriptions. Oh yeah, there you go. You can see now that this bit got hooked on. That was our whole problem all along. But that's okay. We'll just go back to the start so you can see the process from the start. I won't edit this out because this is all part of the experience. And we've still got plenty of time. But yeah, this is definitely not going to be a project that I rush through. I'll even be happy if I'm still stitching on it next year when the retreat comes around, because I think it will be a piece that will just come with me on little travels, because it's going to be a lovely way to, one, be able to remember the retreat, but also just to sort of delve into and feel joyful when I'm working on it. I can luckily see where I put the holes in, so I'm just being careful this time not to catch, and it probably wouldn't have been a problem if I didn't have that loop on the back. I think it was just that I'd created a loop in the process, and so it was all just a bit of a mess. That sometimes happens in our stitching, but it's always not lost. That's what we have to remember, always not lost. As I said at work to a colleague, and thankfully in our line of work, no one died. So you've just got to kind of sometimes put things in perspective so there will be snafus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we've laid our foundations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just double checking my own maths. And then we're going to just pop up just outside of where the center is. And then we're going to start a process of taking our needle underneath one of the spokes and then underneath again to form a little loop. And then we do the same on the next spoke. And you just keep working your way around, doing that on each spoke, always coming underneath and then underneath again. So you're creating a little sort of knot around the thread, or a little loop around the thread, and you're always kind of pulling it towards the center. And so we are going to have to keep twisting our piece. And I should say this is a piece of cut out sheet, so don't worry about the fringiness on the edge. I don't even know if the petals are ultimately going to look exactly like these petals. These are really just little prompts to form a basis to start stitching. So now in that case, I don't know if I've gone through, I think I've actually gone through my threads, so I'm going to fix that first because we don't want to be catching the thread. And if you are having problems catching the thread, you can use the eye end of your needle. Generally I don't, but if I do continue to persist having that problem, then I will start doing that. So I need to go underneath this one and underneath this one. Sorry, and I'm just trying to avoid having to constantly spin my piece around if at all possible. And then we're going to be coming up to the next, and you can see we've already had a change in colour in our thread, the variegated thread, so that is super. Oops, almost caught the other one. And we're just going to keep working our right way around, and you'll start to see the stitches building up. It's actually a bit easier when you get out from the centre. You don't actually have to do the twisting around or anything. You can just, as you can see, that one went a bit too high up the piece, so I'm just going to kind of jimmy it, well, not jimmy it down, but just use my, unless I did actually catch the thread on that one, I can't quite tell if it's not going down. Is that, yeah, I think I actually have caught the thread, that's why it's not moving down the piece. So I'm just going to fix that up. As I say, at least these chenille needles are quite easy to thread and unthread. Okay, so we're just going to make sure we're not catching the thread. So we're just going to come around here, and I've managed to catch that bit of thread. I think someone's starting a barbecue up at the neighbours. As I said, we've got some lovely, went to our lovely fish shop, which does beautiful fish and rice and salad. Alex was keen for a burger, so they also do burgers. A couple of potato cakes. So we'll just heat that up when it's time for dinner. Just makes an easy Sunday night dinner. Haven't had takeaway for a little while. Actually, since we were on holidays, so. Off into the city again tomorrow. At least Mondays the traffic shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. Often it's a rostered day off for the tradies. Oops. But it's amazing how quickly the weeks go. I can't believe we've already been back a week from holidays. We're doing a lovely little thing coming out of the retreat actually, which is everyone put their name into a hat and drew out the name of someone else, and each of us are sending a little package of sort of stitchy goodness off to someone else whose name they drew out. So I'll be getting mine in the post for my recipient this week. In fact, it was funny, I just thought of it yesterday, and then yeah, someone was posting in our little WhatsApp about it, and I was like, oh yes, got to do that. So tonight I think I'll do that. And And I also yesterday, well, speaking of being out and about, I've recently joined the Southeast Contemporary Artists Network, and they have a studio space in a parklands where I take Travis, the parklands that we recently discovered that has the river. And so I was taking Travis down there for a walk yesterday, and they were having an open studio in their exhibition from March, and they also encouraged me to pop a piece in their April exhibition, so I am going to do that, and I will probably do a video because I want to do some further work on the piece that I'm going to pop in that exhibition, so I will no doubt share a video. And that's one of my nature's textures sort of style pieces, but it's one that I started with our nature, I keep forgetting the name of it, our field notes journal. But it's quite a dimensional piece, so I'm not sure if it's going to fit as well in my sort of stand-up display book, which I haven't put together yet, so I thought I might make it as a standalone piece. There is one catch for this particular exhibition, is that everything has to be for sale, so I'll have to be ready to... So I did have a look through everything, and there were pieces that I thought, no, I've got too much sentimental value on that piece. So the pieces I wouldn't enter in this exhibition, but this one I'm feeling fine because I've got quite a lot of nature's textures pieces. I've obviously got the ones I've created at Fleur Woods Workshop, and they do have sentimental value to me, so I would not be popping those in. But this one, I feel okay that I can recreate a version of it, but also it's not one that it was actually just sitting in the box awaiting me to work out how I'm going to put my display sort of folio together. And I don't actually have a place to pop it at the moment. It could go on my bookshelves, but I've got photos of family and everything sitting at the front of those, so it may well be that those pieces get... I'm not sure. I might put the flat pieces into a little field notes book. I'm not sure. Pondering to be done. So I'm just working my way around, and each time just putting the double wrap around the thread. And when you can see, we've already moved to another colour now. So that will be exciting. So that's going to be, that exhibition will be on in April, and I believe that's when there's going to be the locality having its sort of show as well. It's Easter show, so I think it will be open as part of that, and it's in the broad sort of precinct of where that will be. So that could be nice. And it will be when it'll be on when my nephew is coming to visit and stay with us. I'll be able to take him along as well. I'm keen to do some stitching with him, because last time my nephew and my nephews and niece were here, they did some textile, some fibre work with me. So, and they're very excited about the whole sort of YouTube thing. So we'll see. We might even be able to get Bailey on video. He might want to come and do a bit of stitching with me. I want to see more young folks getting into slow stitching. I just think it would be so good for mental health, which is something that all sorts of, people of all ages struggle with, but I think it's particularly hard for kids these days with social media and everything just being so prominent in their lives. It's not something that they get a break from. And then probably seems a bit perverse to say they're not do YouTubing, but certainly slow stitching I would like to see more folks. I still feel like a young person myself, but my age might debate that. And you can do this obviously with wools as well, and it will obviously be a much more sort of bold, and it will go much quicker going around. But again, this is something you can almost probably do in front of the TV as long as you had good light. But it's quite relaxing. It's that process of, it's like kantha stitching when you're just going across, or probably the cross stitching I have to think a tiny bit more about. But even then doing that, I was doing that when I was coming home in the car from Malakuta as well. And it is relaxing. So just pull those down there. Now if your thread is getting sort of twisty, it's good to hold it up. I'm going to do it off camera, but let it sort of spin around. Hold it up and just let the thread spin around to take any of the tension out of it. Oh, I love that little yellow centre that it's got. Let me just tap the camera as well and make sure we're still in good focus land. Just managed to poke myself in the chin as I pulled the needle through. I think I'm being a bit extravagant with my hands. And so yeah, in each of these, which will probably be a weekly, I think I'll try and do it weekly, we'll just do different mark making. We'll just work on a different section of it and try and do a few different things in each, and I'll try and put what I'm working on in either the title or in the description, so that you can kind of then reference back. If you're wanting to see spiderweb again, you can check back to it that way. But I think once you do a few of these, yeah, they'll kind of stick in your mind as a technique. You can do something similar to this using, and I have done it, it's a particular type of button now. I've forgotten whether it's the Dorset button or is it the Suffolk? No, not the Suffolk, because that's the puff. Yeah, but there's one that ends up looking pretty similar, but you're using a template for it. But this is a great way that it's already on your piece. And you can just make it to the custom size you want by where you lay the spokes. So I think Alex must have fed Travis, because Travis did come out having a little mosey around here, but headed back inside. So got Travis some lovely fresh beef mince today. He gets all the human grade food. I came back from Aldi with two trays worth of tuna as well, tinned tuna for Travis. They must think we're a household that eats a lot of tuna, but they probably don't know it's our very well nourished black Labrador. But the lovely thing was, Travis was with me yesterday when I went down to the Contemporary Artists Network studio, and yeah, it's a studio that is dog friendly as well. So yeah, met two of the other, well, particularly one studio dog that's often there apparently, and another studio friend. I'm not sure if they're a member or if they were just visiting, that had their little dog in their little bag. And then the other person I was chatting to, they're also very dog friendly as well, because they've got their own dog. And the person who I originally chatted about the whole thing to, I'd actually seen it on the map, and then met someone at the dog park that is a member, actually the secretary of it. And yeah, that she is also a dog person, obviously meeting her at the dog park. So it's nice. Between the reverse art truck and this Southeast Contemporary Artists Network, I feel like Travis is finding his artistic footing, and he was very good. He was very patient while I looked at the exhibition, and also one of the fellows was doing some, using the printing press and some cuts he had done to create an amazing cloud and bird sort of beachy scene, and so he was showing us his process, which was fascinating. And it just sort of, even though I'm not doing that style of creation, it just prompts things in your head when you're watching someone else creation. You're kind of thinking, oh, how would that apply in a textile fibre context? So everything is food for thought in this world of creativity. And isn't it wonderful that we can share and encourage? And that's what I just want to see more of in this community, and that's what I want to be part of. That's what inspires me. Now, what have I done? I've managed to create quite a knot here. What have I done? What on earth? If it isn't able to be pulled out, we can always take it to the back and tie it off, and then just pop through and keep going round, which might have to be the solution, but I'm not even sure how I got such an impressive knot. But I think we are going to do that, so I will cut it there. I will just bring it back stitch or two. The good thing is, because it is just wrapping, I can actually take it back, and it's not like you lose your place because you can always see where you got to. I just need enough of a tail that I can get it through to the back and then tie it off. So let me just take it through to the back there. I might take it through to the back a bit further in. Get that through to the back there. And then I can tie it off. Let's just tie it around there. So I'm just using the back of the needle and taking it through to just, and we can probably just put another stitch through when we come through from the back, just hold it in place. Now I do feel like that's a pretty good knot, but I am just going to create my own knot on the end. So I'm just wrapping it around the needle while I hold it, and then we just slide it down to the end. And then what we can do here is just working on the back, so not coming through to the front. We're just going to anchor down this thread so that it's caught. And then we can pop through to the front where we were up to, which was here, I think, yes. So I'll just pop up here. And we can just continue along. So sometimes it is better to just cut loose when it's that much of a knot that you just don't think you're going to be able to navigate. So yeah, it's been a lovely weekend of connection. I feel like my sort of in-person community is gradually growing, my in-person sort of stitching community, I should say, which is really beautiful. And hopefully tonight the lovely Sally, Christy and I can have a little catch up on Zoom, as we like to do on a Sunday. It will depend what everyone's up to. I know it's been busy for Christy since getting back from her retreat, and Sally's got all her workshops and always lots going on in her world, her household. I suppose it's just that thing that sort of life doesn't stop, does it? Which thankfully it doesn't, I guess. But yeah, we all have many things to balance. I know I was chatting to Gail about that today. And Gail's very keen to be getting back into all her artistic endeavours and trying new things, and it's just that whole thing of balancing working on the garden, sort of de-stashing, tidying, which is always the challenge when you're accumulating, and when you do have a passion for something like stitching and vintage fibres and textiles, you will gather, and then there's a bit of work in actually then curating your collection and working out your storage methods. That's why I'm so happy with these little thread carriers, because I feel like this project is then just able to be picked up, and as I say, I can take it out to the garden like this, and just sit and be able to start straight away without having to kind of go ferreting around for materials. And that way, if I want to change threads as I go, I can easily do that. So I think when this little bit of thread that we're working with at the moment runs out, I won't go all the way to the edge, but basically that's what you would generally do. Or you can also leave the spokes a bit like I've actually got them here at the moment. You could have some of those spokes showing if you were using this more as a sort of a filling element, so like doing a whole lot of these connected to each other. You could leave some of the little spokey bits between them, and we might even do that on another piece of this, because I think as well as using it as like a centre to a flower, I think it would be great as a little take a bit of time, but I think it would be beautiful filling up a little area and having a massing of these together. And as I say, with the variegated thread, they end up looking, now you can see just how much the thread is getting sort of twisty, so I just held it up there, as you could see, and just let the twist come out of it, and that will probably help you avoid things like that knot that I got before. But as I say, I didn't even really see how the knot formed Maybe if I watch back the video I will, but I probably won't, because I don't generally watch back my videos. Sometimes I have to when someone says, oh, what fabric did you have on your surface, or what was that thing that you referred to, or they comment on a particular phrase or something that I've said, and I have to go back to find out what it is. So what else to tell you? It's been a beautiful day and a beautiful afternoon. Both Gail and I said, yeah, it could have been a nice day for Travis to, come down to the coast. When I was driving back, I was looking out, and it was blue skies, and the sea looked so inviting. But at least Travis still got to go out. That's another place I took him. So I took him when I got home to a place called the Old Cheese Factory, which I might show you because I know you like seeing where we go, and I did take some photos. I might pop it in another video, just because this will be a non-edited video is the plan. But yeah, an old cheese factory, but now it's like a community sort of hub. It has a little cafe, and then it has function areas. It's got a studio, but I think they mainly do like a pottery studio, but it does have some other art spaces and things like that. So I might have to investigate those further, because Sarah and I were talking about at the retreat about setting up a bit of a Melbourne, oops, there goes my scissors falling down, that's not good, on the floor, but they were only my little sewing scissors. Setting up a bit of a Melbourne little slow stitchy gathering. So I might see whether, because it's a council run facility, whether they might be able to offer it for community use, because that would be a lovely space. And potentially we could also, if folks wanted to get some food or something while they're there. And also in the nice weather, the gardens are just so lovely to sit in. They've got plenty of free seating that people can. It's dog friendly as well. It was lovely. So I will take Alex back there sometime, because he was on call this weekend, so he couldn't go out. So that's why I've been gallivanting around. So that is where I've got to so far, but I think I will definitely continue out and finishing going around. As you can see, you can shape it to whatever shape you have, and like with this one, if you end up with, like on this side, I'd kind of finished it, but I just kept then doing stitches where I still had space, and I'll probably end up doing the same here, because I think I'll still need some more filling stitches around there. So you just keep sort of adding them where you need them. So I might just do a bit more of this now. The question is whether I will want to change to another colour. I think I might bring in a bit of the purple. So let's grab, this is Wonderfeel Pearl Cotton EZM 2210 here. I think this is a bit where I'm meant to pull it from. And we've only got a sort of another 8 minutes or so, so we'll just do a little bit of stitching, and then at just before the hour mark, I will bid you adieu. Let you get back to your days or your evenings. But as I say, hopefully this has just been a nice little, like a stitching hour is how I'm going to think of it, a little bit of a extension of the retreat. So this really is just kantha stitching that I'm doing here. And again, I can think about, do I want to sort of curve some of it up a bit more, but let's just start and see where it takes us. And I will try and just work on the front, I think, if I can. I might not be going right through to the blanket at the back, but I don't think that'll be a problem, as long as I periodically sort of catch it, and maybe at the end of the row I'll pop through to the back and just sort of anchor down. Let's just make sure we've gone all the way through. Someone's banging something in another backyard, not sure what that is. Now I'll just give another tap on my screen as well, and just make sure that I am staying in focus. Not sure. Well, there are some kids that lived, I think, down in one of the other houses. Maybe they're doing something. Unless someone's got a drum kit, but it doesn't quite sound like a drum kit. So I'll angle across here. I think I am catching enough of the blanket, so that's okay. I don't even need to pop to the back. Oops. And you will start to get that lovely, almost, yeah, sort of like puckering of the fabric, and that is, I think, part of the charm. And my stitches are, as I said, I might want to go a bit curved, and they're already starting to curve a little bit, so I'm going to just kind of embrace that and amplify it, I think. And so this is what they call stacking of the stitches. So as you can see, I'm sort of pushing the needle through the fabric up and down, and then pulling it through to get a row of stitches. And so it's generally a quicker way to... Now I think here I'm going to want the stitches to come all the way up. So what I'm going to do here is pass my needle up to the top, about here. And then I'm going to start my next row. So I want my next row, I think, to sort of come down. Maybe I actually need it to be a tiny bit further over, but I think that's okay. Or maybe I will actually come down. Maybe I will extend myself. Maybe I'll come up first and then come down, I think. And here's Travis coming to say hello again. I won't move my camera because I'm worried it will go out of focus, but know that Travis is here, paying his regards to his loving fans. I do always tell Travis that he gets probably more Cheerios than I get. I'm not being funny. Well, I'm being funny actually. I have no concerns. Travis is very cute. A lady saw me taking photos of him in front of the garden at the cheese factory, and she said, "Oh, do you want to get in the photo?" And I said, "No, he's much more photogenic than me." Even though he doesn't like actually having his photo taken, he insists on getting paid in biscuits. He's actually sniffing at me. I'm not sure if that's to sort of put me off and say, "Mum, I think you need to be going inside to prepare dinner or something." He likes to see me in the kitchen. We joke that he likes to watch the cooking show. It's funny though, he quite likes watching us when we're cleaning up too, but I think that's because he's kind of hoping that we'll find something else to gift to him post meal. Even though he is far from underfed, he gets 2 dinners. Travis, you can stop sniffing me. He's tickler. Oh, there he is. I don't know. Let me say. Okay, he really wants to come into the photo. There you go. Sorry, and that's probably that's me as well. Yeah. You want to be in the filming, Bobo? I'm almost finished, so we'll just swing the camera back, Bobo, and we'll just finish stitching. Yeah, you can leave your head there on my lap if you want. Good boy. I've just been telling them about what we've been up to today, Travis. So yeah, you're definitely part of this channel. And I just recently ordered all of Travis's dog training biscuits and his little lunch natural treats, which are a company that help dogs that are being adopted out and things, dogs that are handed in, etc. So yeah, it's a great cause as well. But I resisted the urge to look at their sort of the dogs that are up for adoption, because I always my heartstrings just get pulled, and I don't think right now is probably not the exact time, but maybe later this year we will ponder on a dog. But I'll probably wait for October to pass first, because my parents and I are going over for my brother's 50th birthday in Western Australia, and so Alex will be looking after Travis and mum and dad's dog. Not that Lucy's a problem at all, but I probably wouldn't want to give Alex 2 dogs plus a puppy to look after by himself. Because if the puppy's like Travis, a ball of energy, it will take the both of us to raise him. But now he's a very subdued boy. He was just an energetic puppy. So I'll just finish this row, I think. Although he's very good, he's just sitting there and enjoying the breeze. He actually likes sitting outside of an evening. I think he likes the cooler breeze blowing through. Probably likes the barbecue smells that are permeating the air from the neighbour. So again, I'm getting a nice little bit of curve, so I'm going to try and sort of keep that curvy element going. And again, I'm not aiming for sort of perfection with my stitch lengths, just because, as you can see, they were very thin there, and then this section that I'm working is a little bit sort of thicker. It's kind of just that thing that when you, and I think those I was actually going up and down front to back rather than in this style. So yeah, but I think it's nice to have variation. We don't want it to look like a machine did it. We want it to look done, and I think it just gives the eye actually more interest than if it was all identical. And it kind of gives dimension, I think, as well. So I will sign off there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon to continue working on this really joyful piece, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. Thanks everyone.